Camel and Johnson gonna talk about sports today. You can disagree, I don't care what you have to say. Bet by odds, you know how Vegas play. 5 days go by, then you have the last say. Stephen A. and his sidekick Max, Nick Wright and Jenna get taxed. Shannon and Skip, Marcellus in the back. Big Whitlock got fired where you at. These sports reporters ain't giving you the facts. Don't bet your life cause you won't get it back. It's the Last Say podcast, that's where it's at. It's the Last Say, have a nice day. It's the Last Say, it's the Last Say. You know, I want to start off by bashing these whack-ass sports reporters. Starting off with Max Kellerman trying to anoint Ryan Tannehill as the league's best quarterback. Once again, Max, you sound ridiculous. We all know who the anchor of that team is. It's Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill. Ay. You know, it's one analyst I can respect. That's Mike Greenberg. Mike Greenberg says that Ohio State's quarterback, Justin Fields, is better than Clemson's quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Greeny, I love the fact that you make all your predictions before the fact. So I can respect that with you. You always say it before it and not after the fact. So thumbs up for Greenberg. I don't have nothing bad to say about you. Did you guys see Joy last week on The Herd? Last Thursday morning, to be exact. She came out looking like Pee Wee Herman with her hair slicked back. I mean, there's no other woman in sports that changes her hair more than Joy. Joy, you are beautiful. You are fine. You are a dime piece. So you keep changing your hair, girl. I don't think you can. There is a bad style for you. LeBron James' brother's sister was murdered in her home, and nobody knows what happened. So hopefully that could get some headlines and the police could get to the bottom of it and find out who killed his brother's sister. Matt Hasselbeck, another ESPN analyst, said that Josh Allen had the best arm in football. The quarterback for the Buffalo Bills had the best arm in football. Wow. I can recall when some so-called experts had Josh Allen for MVP, like the first 4 or 5 games of the season, when the Bills was undefeated, until they start playing some real teams. You know, you analysts are just like me and anybody else. That's right. The NBA will be starting back up December 22nd. It will be a 72-game season. Stephen A. Smith has the Golden State Warriors dethroning the LA Lakers. Max Kellerman has the Denver Nuggets dethroning the LA Lakers. And Skip Bayless has the New Jersey Nets dethroning the LA Lakers. All these busters coming at the Lakers. You know, I don't know if New Jersey is even going to advance to the... I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs, number one. And if they do, I don't even know if they'll get out the first round. And Golden State, man, I don't know if Klay Thompson's going to be healthy. And Denver, just because they did good last season and took the Lakers to what, 6? Come on. You think it's going to happen again? All these so-called experts, analysts, reporters, whatever you want to call yourself. Well, what makes you think the Lakers ain't going to make no moves to get better? You think they come up with the same team? Last Monday, a 3-year-old girl was pulled out of the rubble after being buried for 65 hours due to the 6.6 earthquake that rocked Turkey. Miracles do happen. I'm so glad that little girl's okay. Just think about it, 65 hours, no food, no water, buried under cement and trash and rubble. Man, miracles do happen. Miracles do happen. So many people want to blame God when bad things happen, but nobody take their hat off to thank Him when the good things happen. Prop 22 passes. For those of you that don't know Prop 22, the state of California was trying to make the Uber drivers be employees, so they will get to remain independent contractors. So they work for themselves. They don't punch a clock, technically. In Denver, they passed a law allowing people to own pet bulls. Pet bulls have been outlawed after killing a 3-year-old boy years ago. They had outlawed anybody to have a pet bull. There was a record 150 million people that voted for the 2020 elections. Everybody's votes were being counted except Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada. Now, why all these other regions were counting their votes, but you had these 5 states that were behind? Now, let's talk about the 5 states that were behind. Let's start off with Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania had 120,000 votes that were found after the Republican posters were kicked out. For those of you who don't know, the posters are the ones that come in to oversee the people counting the ballots. They were kicked out. Then mysteriously, 120,000 mail-in votes popped up, and they all had Biden on it. So you mean to tell me 120,000 votes came in and all Biden, not one Trump? I find that kind of hard to believe. Let's talk about Arizona. They gave out Sharpies to the voters to fill out their ballots, knowing that that marker would not register. Let's talk about Nevada. Nevada had dead people voting, people that weren't even alive. All of a sudden you're getting ballots from people that's not living. You have people that moved out of Nevada still claiming that they lived in Nevada, still voting. I mean, this mail-in voting is getting out of hand. You don't know who's really in that state. You don't know who's alive and who's dead. If this wasn't the biggest fix, I don't know what is. I mean, it's got corruption written all over it. They've been trying to get Biden in the office. He's secretly doing deals with China and Russia before he was even elected. Once Vegas put those odds out, Biden minus 215, Trump plus 183, I knew it was a wrap. Because Vegas knows. Well, we got a new president in America. Joe fucking Biden. Joe Biden. Carl, are you there?
Hello?
Hey, where you calling from?
Hi. It's just anonymous.
Anonymous caller from an anonymous city. Okay, great. So, how do you feel about your new president, Joe Biden?
It is intriguing to me how Biden's votes came out of nowhere when it appeared that President Trump's numbers were increasing amongst blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and Muslims. It's just mind blowing how President Trump was in the lead and Biden Harris won. All the talks of voter fraud and it needs to be investigated.
Okay, so you think the mail-in? So, are you for or against mail-in voting?
Be common.
That to vote, you need to have ID so that it's more
All right, let's go to the next caller. I do appreciate your feedback. Let's go to take another call. Hello,
How
hello.
you doing, sir? Hey.
Hey, where you calling from, sir?
What's going on, brother?
We're just getting some feedback on the election and our new president, Joe Biden. Want to know how you feel about it. Do you think the election was fair? And are you happy with your new president?
Well, I'm just happy that it's all over, for one, because it's been a
Amen.
long, exhausting week, and just waiting around to see what was going to happen. And I just feel like the projected winner. It seems that the country, in some part, is happy. So I was happy to see, people turning out and celebrating. It did seem to bring another tone to the country at the moment, because it's been so down and just kind of negative, for the most part over the last 4 years. So I was happy to see a bit of happiness. Am I happy with the new president? I know he's had some issues with his own rhetoric, so it's just interesting to see how it goes. I hope they can get some things done. I'm not against one party or the other. I want everybody to just work together and come together for the greater good of America, because it's been so negative, and I'm just tired of all the negativity. I want everybody to come together and just work together for us as Americans.
All right. Oh, okay. Well,
That's what it is.
all right, caller. I do appreciate your feedback. Now let's go to the next caller and see what they have to say about the election and if they're happy with our new president.
Well, folks,
Looks like we got a real live Game of Thrones on our hands. As President Trump is not going out without a fight. And personally, I feel him because of the way that all these ballots were counted. I would fight back too. And I hope somehow, some way, President Trump can become victorious and finish everything that he started, business-wise, to help build the wealth of America back up. On so many levels, I feel that Mr. Crime Bill writer, super predator calling, mass incarcerating Joe Biden is not good for everyone, namely black people. Look at his track record. And his vice president, Miss Former, I will lock your black ass up in a hot minute, give you a stiff sentence cause I can, Kamala Harris, is funny style too. Cause at first she was black, Jamaican, Indian, now she's Southeast Asian, immigrant. At this point, I'm like, whatever. Just do the right thing. Why y'all up there fighting for immigrants, open borders, and all things that benefit people of color, as they choose to say, do not leave black people out. I want to hear the word reparations and the dollar amount that is going to be paid to all black people that are descendants of slavery that took place here on American soil. And all those dollars for reparations can only go to direct descendants of slavery. I want all the reparations money to be for black people only. Not white people, not Chinese people, not Japanese people, not Indian people, not Hispanic people, not Jewish people, not Armenian people, not Russian people, not whatever kind of people you are. Reparations money for black people only, America. And this is what I want on the table. I want somebody to bring the talks of reparation and let black people get what is due to them And as I said, to reiterate, that money can only be for black people because everything else that has been put on the table for black people, on down from the civil rights all the way up to now, everybody has come to America and benefited from that money. I'm not prejudiced, I'm not racist, I'm not even mad. I'm disappointed. I am disappointed that the people that are the direct descendants of slavery have been overlooked and been put off and put off and put off. And I don't care who it is or where they come from, they can come to America and make a great living. They can build wealth for their generations. But somehow, the black people that are the direct descendants of slavery cannot seem to get a foothold on the American dream because they are always overlooked, put off, and disappointed some kind of way by every single person that could help them. But nobody seems to help. Nobody seems to care. Now, I want to see this happen ASAP. And that's about all I got to say.
Wow, that was some strong words, and I do
What is
appreciate.
it really going to take? What is it really going to take? Some strong words and some strong actions put forth by somebody who cares about black people. We didn't have a black president 8 years. Obama didn't do nothing for black people. I don't see what he did. They only gave what, a cell phone and some Obamacare that didn't even work. What is anybody gonna do to help the black people in America that are the direct descendants of slavery that deserve to be paid?
Slavery.
Well, I don't.
Everybody else get paid.
Atrocities, and everybody else from every other country come to this country and protest for their atrocities that happen to them. It ain't happen on American soil. And they can come over here and protest for their stuff and get liberation for it and build wealth from it. So it is time for black people to get what is due to them so that they can begin to build generational wealth and live comfortable in today's society. Enough is enough already. Come on now.
Hey, me the president.
Further that note, I also feel like a lot of things that are in the benefit of the Republicans is that the Republicans won a lot of Senate seats and they won a lot of things on the other levels of Congress. And they won a lot of things as far as, you know, in the city limits of a lot of places or whatever. So the Democrats got a lot of hard work in front of them because first of all, they got to face Donald Trump and the court system to see how this fraud thing is going to work out. We got to look at that. And then, again, the Republicans won a lot of different things that the Democrats thought that they were going to win. So they got the work cut out for them, too. So we got to see how this right here plays out. It's going to be real interesting.
We got week 9 of the NFL. We got a lot of games to go over today. Let's start off. Let me go over to the computer so I can get the real facts on some of these games that's played today. We had the Chiefs beat the Carolina Panthers 33-31. Once again, Teddy Bridgewater plays a close game but comes up short. I mean, it's safe to say, put your money on Bridgewater because he's not going to get blown out. You had the Ravens beating the Colts 24-10. That was a no-brainer. The Ravens were coming off a loss. You know they're not going to continue to lose. They're going to beat these mediocre teams. I don't know why everybody thinks the Colts are all that. You got Phillip Rivers. He ain't nothing. You got the Lions falling to the Vikings 34-20. Dalvin Cook had 22 rushing attempts for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think Dalvin Cook has climbed up the charts as the best running back this year. Between him and Derrick Henry. You got speaking of Derrick Henry, he had 21 attempts for 68 yards today. But what did you expect? They played the Chicago Bears. The Titans beat the Bears 24-17. The Bears are the Bears. They started off with that good record. What were they? 5-0, and it's just been all downhill since then. Let's see what happens with them and if they're going to be going for a quarterback next season. You have the Bills defeating the Seahawks 44-34. It wasn't even close. Russell Wilson had a horrible game, throwing, I believe, 2 interceptions. He passed, even though he passed for 390 yards and had 2 touchdowns, he also threw for 2 interceptions, turned the ball over. So you can't win that way. Josh Allen threw for 415 yards, threw for 415 yards and 3 touchdown passes. Once again, Josh shows that he's no slouch. Diggs had 9 receptions for 118 yards. DJ Metcalf, 7 receptions for 108 yards. You had the Texans defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-25. Deshaun Watson threw for 281 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 10 rushing attempts for 50 yards. Wide receiver Will Fuller had 5 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown. And that's enough about that game. You got sorry about that, folks, but the phone is going crazy here because the New Orleans Tampa Bay game is on as we speak, and New Orleans is winning 31-0. 31-0 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So all of you that anointed Tampa Bay of going to the Super Bowl, Brady is turning that whole organization and that team around. Guess again. You had the New York Giants defeating the Washington football team 23-20. Alex Smith threw for 325 yards and a touchdown, but they came up short. You had the Atlanta Falcons defeating the Denver Broncos 34-27. Ever since they fired the coach for Atlanta, they've won 3 games. Now they're 3-6. Good job moving away from that sad, pathetic coach. You had the Nevada Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, defeated the Chargers 31-26. David Carr threw for 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. The quarterback, Justin Herbert, threw for 326 yards and 2 touchdowns. He just came up short. Every week this guy's putting up big numbers. They're coming up short. They're losing by 1 touchdown, 3 points every week. That kid's future looked promising. You had the Dolphins defeating the Cardinals 34-31. Tua threw for 248 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kyler Murray threw for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had 11 rushing attempts for 106 yards and a touchdown, but they came up short. Tua is starting to emerge as the real deal. I mean, I can't say nothing bad about him. Miami's on the roll. We all laughed when the coach benched Fitzgerald to put in Tua after Miami was on a 2-game winning streak. But hey, they keep winning. This is the second game they won with Tua in there. So hey, more power to you. You got the Steelers defeating the Cowboys 24-19. Ben Roethlisberger threw for 306 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was a scary moment where he got hit and sandwiched by DeMarcus Lawrence and tweaked his knee, went back to the locker room, came back out, finished the game. Good luck to you, Ben. Hope that knee's all right. Once again, the Cowboys. You know what? The Cowboys actually played a good game today. The defense looked good. Believe it or not, the offense looked better. The third string quarterback Gilbert threw for 243 yards and a touchdown pass. CeeDee Lamb had 4 receptions for 71 yards and a touchdown. And Zeke didn't do all that great. I'm not even going to talk about him. Pollard had 9 rushing attempts for 57 yards. Well, that about does it for the NFL. It looks like, unless a miracle happens, Tampa Bay's up 31-0 at halftime. Man. All right, people. Until the next time, I'm your host, RJ. You want something good to eat? I know a special kind of treat. It ain't lobster, crab, or filet mignon. It's just a piece of fat, I wrapped around the bone. Hang up the phone, cause nobody's home. Eat up the fat, then fuck on the bone. This is pork, not beef, this sticks to your teeth. You never catch this meat, or walking in the street. The P to the I to the G, F, double E, with a little bitty T. Pig feet, that's what it is. I know what you think, stay out of my biz. Everybody talking about Farrakhan. The number one man is Farmer John. And the oink oink here's and the oink oink there. Pigs, they're everywhere. I once seen a pig beat up a bear. Pork rind, fatback stuff in my hat. Juices dripping down all over my back. Won't leave the house, that's a roll on my lack. Went to the store, bought a fifth for yak. I never have to carry my big old yak, cause big old Shaq, he's got my back. If you eat my pork, he will attack.